welcome to another episode of the Happily Ever After Place. I'm your host, Pearl, and on today's episode, we get to speak to an author that I'm really excited about. So, some backstory. A few months ago, I received an arc for a book called The Huntress and the Four Horsemen. Now, I kind of went in blind for this book. I only read the blurb, but it sounded really interesting to me. And when I read it, I literally fell in love with the book from the first page. The world building alone just drew me in. And the more I read it, the more I fell in love with the story, the characters, the themes of the book. The book combines themes of religion, devotion, faith, love, pleasure, and it's dystopian, so there's a lot of that. But I really enjoyed the way that the book used religious symbolism to tell such an impactful story that felt so timely. So anyway, when I finished reading the book, I just knew that we had to have Darby Briar, that's the name of the author, on the podcast. So I'm really excited that she decided to come on, and I'm very excited to chat with her about the themes of the book, about the ways that she explores divinity, which is one of my favorite things. And so, yeah, anyway, I'm going to stop yapping and don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back with Darby Briar, the author of The Huntress and the Four Horsemen.
Hi, Darby. It's very nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. Thanks for asking me to do this.
Oh, thanks for agreeing. After reading your book, I just knew I had to talk to you because I had so many thoughts and yeah, it was such a great book. Welcome
Hi.
to the Happily Ever After Place podcast. I am very excited to have you, Darby Briar, the author of The Huntress and the Four Horsemen.
Yes.
It is such a great book. I've never read anything like it. I've never read anything like it before, and it was I had to talk to you when I read it. I am gonna start with a pretty, I guess, generic-ish question, but I really want to know. Can you give us a quick summary of The Huntress and the Four Horsemen? What it's about, why you chose to write it, because I found it really timely. Why you chose to write it, what was the inspiration for it,
Well, I was driving at the time listening to music, and that's usually one of my triggers for an idea or a new book. And I think for me, if you read the acknowledgments, I gave a shout out to M. Night Shyamalan because he's one of my my favorite movie, my favorite director. I love the foreshadowing, and for me, I've always tried to write books that have a lot of foreshadowing that you don't know the whole story until you get to the end of the book or the series. And so it was this is when I heard it and the idea came to me, I was like, this is my signs. And writing it, I feel like I dived into music to plot it out. And it was, I think for me, it was about giving a different look at scripture and perception of how it could be interpreted. It was taking religious aspect and showing that it can also be for good and it can be for evil, that it can be twisted, and I come from a religious place, and sometimes it's the one and sometimes it's the other. Sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good. And so it was an ability to tell the story of really this woman who was raised in a cult, religious cult that's underground, that's unlike anything that we would, hear of. And at first everything looks like it's on the up and up, but it's not. And she is essentially being raised to kill the four horsemen before they kill off humanity. And she's just given a different version, a different perception or understanding of what her purpose is and what the scriptures say, and what God's role is, and if he still has faith in humanity or not. And so that all kind of gets twisted. And I loved being able to bring the horsemen to life in this whole different light. And really, any story I want to take and write about, I want to just give a whole different spin on it,
Hmm.
and develop characters that, aren't going to be something you'd read. Maybe the seed of it comes from mythology, but
Yeah.
then, yeah, develop it further.
No,
So,
everything you said is actually exactly what I loved about the book. Everything, like from the way that you explore divinity, the way you take scripture and turn it into like just kind of reimagine it in this way. Like the four, I mean, everyone who's, if you've grown up Christian, if you've ever gone to Sunday school, if you've ever read the book of Revelations, you
mm-hmm.
know the four horsemen. And this is just such a different take on like all of that. And I really enjoyed like your use of religious symbolism. I found it so interesting. Like it's like we as humans, right? We always treat like religion and divinity like this absolutely perfect thing. But
Mm-hmm.
then it's like it is flawed because our interpretation of it is flawed because we humans are flawed. It's part of why,
Right.
I mean, if you're Christian, like humans are not perfect, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
all the things, we're not perfect. And so I really, really enjoyed like the aspects of the book. Was this not treating divinity as this perfect thing, but as something that can be flawed? Was this like a conscious choice that you were making while you were building out the world of this book?
Yeah, it was, well, and not to show it as evil or good, but how as people we've changed it, and
Yeah.
how it, what we maybe even have in our hands now or what we understand could be totally different from what original creation, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so it was just this whole aspect of, yeah, looking at religion through different perspectives and light, and
Yeah.
then how it can be used for power, um, and then too how almost she had to find her own faith. She had
Mm-hmm.
to, she was just, force fed kind of this other interpretation, right?
Yeah.
These two different books, the good book
Yeah.
and then this extension to it.
Yeah.
And but she had to abandon all of that to really understand what faith was, and it might just come from yourself and your
Mm-hmm.
own relationship with
Mm-hmm.
not just God, but like everything, right? The
Yeah.
world, humanity. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Mm.
that's that's a great point that you bring up because I felt like Eridessa was such an interesting character to me. Like all the characters are, but I really want to start with her. She had such a strong sense of self. Like you
Mm.
notice it almost right away, even from like when we first meet her as a child. She's like she has such a big like personality, but she's like she just has her own way, her own idea of doing things. She has a commitment to her order. Obviously, there's a devotion there and to the mission
Mm.
that she's been trained for. But then it's
Mm.
like she makes some decisions that are kind of opposite of what she's being taught. Like, when a lot of times when kids or when you've grown up believing one thing, it's kind of
Mm.
difficult to question it. But then there's all these moments where Eridessa is questioning things, even from when she's
Mm.
a child. She's like, she wants to go play. Why can't she go play? And then when she reads the secret text, even though she knows she's probably going to get in trouble if she gets caught, but just that
Mm.
burning curiosity is like more
Mm.
important to her than like the consequences. And then even when
Yes.
she starts her mission, it's like there's this thing between what she's taught and what she's been trained for, but also
Mm.
what she's experiencing on the ground and how those things are influencing the decisions that she's making. And so if
Mm.
you wonder, like, was this when you started to create her character, was this how she showed up, or was this like the first iteration of the character? Was this like you wanted someone, you were writing a character that was curious, that would question things, that would kind of go her own way? Was that like the thought process when you were creating Eridessa?
Yeah, I feel like it's whenever I'm creating a female character, well, male too, it's like there's always this sliver of your own personality that you put into it.
Mm-hmm.
But also like she didn't trust anyone enough to tell them or talk to, like she had friends within the order, but
Yeah.
that a best friend even, but
Mm-hmm.
she believed so wholeheartedly what
Mm-hmm.
she had been taught and in
Yeah.
this man that was leading them, that she didn't even voice a seed of doubt, and
Mm-hmm.
to have, you know what I mean, to break that
Yeah.
kind of, yeah,
Yeah.
trust. Um, and so there's a little sliver of me in there, but I feel like by the time I really, because when probably got through the first draft, it's almost like I begin to then understand her. And so then
Mhm.
by the time I go back and do edits, it's like I know who she is and I start to shift maybe decisions as I'm
Mhm.
editing to
Yeah.
match in with who I've found by the end.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's kind of through the process you find them and their full
Mhm.
character,
Mhm.
and then you start to really shape it to,
Yeah.
to all fit. But
Yeah.
mhm,
I also really enjoyed there's this push and pull between Eri
mhm,
and Oran and Pollock.
mhm,
I know you can't tell us too much because it's an ongoing series, but I was
mhm.
really fascinated by the fact that like Eri's order is, I guess, kind of Catholic coded, like with the sisters and the priest-like character who's the Grand Minister, Judea.
Yeah. I want
But
to say like fundamentalist and then
yeah,
also,
they're like
yeah, a little
a
bit
like
of, yeah.
one of those like
Hmm.
sects that are like they're part of like this thing, but also on the
Hmm.
outskirts of it. Um,
Hmm.
but
And
they're
I
at
hate to like
odds.
even curb it, you know what I mean? Even label it
Yeah,
anything, but
exactly. Because
yes.
I'm like, I literally am like, I don't want to label it as one thing, but
Hmm.
there's like the flavor is there, but it's
Hmm.
not all that it is.
Hmm.
Um, but they're at odds with the Horsemen, which you would think that like, I mean, as the story goes on, we start to realize that things are not exactly as they seem. But
Hmm.
she's so determined to save the world because like
Hmm.
she's living it, she's seeing how things are, she's experiencing it, and like her conviction was so beautiful and like a commitment to hope and like just the
Hmm.
inherent value of humans. And even when she's faced with so much evidence that like there's no hope to be found, like the four horsemen are here because they're like, this world is ending, God is done with it, he's not interested
Yeah.
in saving it. But she's like, we're saving this, you can't just throw it away. And I
Hmm.
wondered if it was maybe like commentary on how sometimes powerful entities like people, institutions can sometimes be so removed from those that they have power over that they stop seeing their value.
Yeah, I feel like in a way that's what she's interpreting as God's. You know what I mean? Decision
Mhm.
making is
Mhm.
we've served our value. There's power in this world in every creation here,
Yeah.
and that's what she's at least being told and starts to believe that that's why he's
Mhm.
turned his eye away, right? But for her, it was almost like making that decision that she did with the order. When she was finally chosen,
Yeah.
it's like that changed then her belief system started. That was the seed of change right there, because from when the world then fell apart and the catastrophes happen and she re-enters the world, she has no idea and she doesn't know these people. I mean, to her
Mhm.
they are just what she's been told is right,
Yeah.
humanity. But to see them little by little and to see, a plant grow, to see hear the first bird come, like
Mhm.
flutter after so
Mhm.
long in silence and kind of this ash ridden world. It was like that's what starts to really have her appreciate just every, moment of life that she
Yeah.
witnesses, good or bad, because she
Mhm.
can see, good and evil. But yeah, it's almost like that inward shame and guilt
Mhm.
then flips for her to see life as precious.
Yeah.
So,
Like it was
mhm.
such a beautiful thing just because she was so determined. She's like, we're saving the animals and we're saving the insects and the plants and the flowers because you could see how she learned to value like the
Mhm.
things based on like the way she was interacting with them. Like she didn't have to
Mhm.
do it. It's not exactly what she was trained for, but then you could
Right.
see the ways that like experiencing it in person and seeing it and just feeling it and the way that she
Mhm.
felt. Like it was such a, I really loved that about her.
Yeah.
There's a part of
And
the book where Eri and Oran are having a conversation about the state of things, like based on the work he's been sent to do as a horseman. He sees no reason to save the souls that are left because it's like they're already doomed. They're just here to prove if they're truly finally doomed forever or if there's a chance they can
right.
escape.
But yes, they need to
Yeah,
be weighed. You know what I mean? They have
exactly. And
a
Aries,
weight to
like,
them
you
and they
can't
serve a purpose.
exactly judge people for fighting so hard to survive when they've been pushed to the brink. And, like,
Hmm.
I wondered if any part of that was kind of influenced by the state of things in the world. like, okay, I'm going to use like crime for example, right?
Yeah.
Like
But
so much.
to these, she doesn't understand who these souls are, and he does,
No,
So it's like they
exactly.
both have this, yeah,
Yeah, like they
different,
both
yes.
have. He's like, I'm seeing things that you're not seeing, and she's like, yeah,
Mhm.
well, so am I. I'm seeing things that you're not seeing. And it made me think like so much of crime, right, can be this, some crimes, right, can be traced to like things like poverty and other kinds of
Mhm.
societal factors, but a lot of
Mhm.
times punishment doesn't really seem that interested in correcting the factors that create the environment for the crime to
Yes.
thrive or to succeed. Instead, it's
Yeah.
more focused on punishing the individuals, which doesn't
Mhm.
mean that crime shouldn't have consequences. Of course, it should. Like
Right.
sometimes people just do really bad things and there should be
Mm.
consequences for that. But I also sometimes find myself thinking, I'm wondering if at any point the conversation ever shifts from let's punish the criminal to let's create better conditions so that things like desperation and the need for survival are not pushing people to be the worst version of themselves. Was that
Yes.
something that kind of influenced the way that you wrote, um, the way the people that are left in the world, the souls that are left, are trying to survive and just doing whatever they have to sometimes?
Yes, because I feel like the souls that are left, I mean, first of all, even if they're souls before they were reborn or brought into, you know what I mean, back in this
Mm-hmm.
last day, even if they had weight or sins,
Mm-hmm.
then are they not a clean slate when they come into this world?
Yeah.
Like, because they seem to already be half written off or saved till the end and not
Mm-hmm.
given the same chances like other souls. So
Mm-hmm.
it is that whole like, are their souls stained because of this, or is it not, do they not get enough time because
Yeah.
in what, or what like Tir Knock is trying to, they need more time, like, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean, they
Mm-hmm.
need an opportunity to show their worth, and
Mm-hmm.
in doing so, yes, they can be tried, but
Yeah.
you also need time and trials to, yeah, to essentially weigh their souls.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's
mhm.
like I really like that. Like everything, like I think one of my favorite things about the book is how every moment kind of felt so intentional. It felt like nothing was there just because, like there was a reason for everything. And so I mean the end of days is not like I feel like even if you're not raised Christian, like I was raised Christian, so I mean I
Mhm.
grew up going to Sunday school, I was a worker in church. These are things that
Yep.
I grew
Me
up
too.
so faith is not like a new thing, but I also
Mhm.
like a lot of people went through like a lot of like questioning phase. So which is one of the reasons why I really appreciated like the ways that religion and religious texts and just the exploration of it in this book. But then I also wondered if when you're telling the story in the book, there's all these mixes of like I think it's Irish mythology, Irish Celtic mythology, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, great.
Yes. Mhm.
And like old gods like the great Dagda, for example, and druids and
Yes.
runes. And it felt like you were deliberately treating the world as a whole, not just as something that started with the Abrahamic religions, and like but
Mhm.
like all these other ways of worship that kind of influence faith and devotion, especially with
Mhm.
like Oran and Pollock's history. Can you talk more
Mhm.
about that?
Yeah, I feel like because for me it's more even than the world, right? Because you
Mm-hmm.
have heaven and you have hell,
Yeah.
and that they'll play a little bit more parts in the
Mm-hmm.
series, because I feel like it's a whole realm, and
Yeah.
in the realm you have these old gods that maybe they're in the stars or maybe they are still among us. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's so many ways to look at that and play with it, and for me, making them. Um, these kind of Irish clan leader princes,
Yeah.
reborn,
Yeah.
was a part of like they're human too. They were once
Mm-hmm.
human. They're going to
Mm-hmm.
understand humanity at a
Yeah.
level no other horseman would. And then you also have the opposite of that being Cahill. And then you have the someone that might even not be able to see humanity in the right with the right eyes, in Tiernock,
Mm-hmm.
because he's never been among them.
Mm-hmm.
He's always been above. And so I think for me it was just having that dimension of and weaving in these different, time frames from humanity,
Mm-hmm.
mythology, understanding different cultures, and then giving them this human backstory, that people can resonate with,
Yeah.
and that bond,
Yeah.
and also that betrayal. So
Like it was a really cool, like I really enjoyed, just you could see the ways that those, like the paths for Oran and Pollock especially, like the ways that it influenced their behavior and the ways that
mhm,
like it made them think about things and process things and rethink things. Um, One of the things that I also kind of noticed, what was a kind of a theme, I guess. So when we meet Pollock, right, he's doing his whole white horseman business. He's doing his horseman things that he was been sent here to do.
this
But
soul serpant, yeah.
yeah, exactly. But when the things that kind of happen towards the end of the book and he kind of gets the rest of his memory back,
Mm-hmm.
there's like a transformation that happens where he's kind of different from the Pollock that we start with in the beginning of the book. And then I realized that I was reading it, that transformation seemed to be like a theme that showed up in different parts of the book, from
Mm-hmm.
um, Pollock and Oran and who they were before to who they are now as angels, with Eri at different stages of the book, and the characters experience different kinds of transformation. And Pollock seemed to become like more of himself
Mm-hmm.
after he gets his memory back, after like he goes through this entire transformation. And then it made
Mm-hmm.
me think, like, was this a way of saying that transformation doesn't just change us, it kind of allows us to fully like become.
Become who we're supposed to
Yeah,
be.
yeah,
Yes, fully become who we're supposed to be. And
yeah.
I feel like through the journey of the series, that's even more so. So where it goes from here, because in
Mm-hmm.
book one, they're going to have these transformations, but
Yeah.
that's just a budding of who they will become by the
Mm-hmm.
end for me. And it and I want like the transformation to happen and not just be like a character arc of,
Mm-hmm.
an improvement to
Mm-hmm.
who they are
Yeah.
in, human wise, but also their powers and their, you know what I mean, their
Mm-hmm.
connection and their relationships and how
Mm-hmm.
those just shift through the book and through
Yeah.
the series.
No,
So
I really loved it because I'm like, something is different here. And it feels like every time there was a kind of change, it didn't just feel like just something added to the story. It felt like a natural part of their evolution. So I
yeah.
really enjoyed like that part of the story. So there's a quote that I really, really loved.
Okay.
It says, God can and does reevaluate his decisions. He always has. Creation is not static, it is responsive. And this is Oran saying this to Eri while they're talking
Yeah.
about the different texts, the
Yeah.
secret text and the regular text. And
Mm-hmm.
it got me really thinking about Christianity, the faith,
Mm-hmm.
and Christianity, the organized religion.
Mm-hmm.
Because the entire concept of Christianity, right, exists because God reevaluated his decision. The God from the Old Testament is not the God in the New Testament. It's the same God, but he's
Mm-hmm.
behaving differently, and he's different with his creation, and he's more merciful. And he reevaluates things. It's like, okay, maybe I'm gonna not punish them as much. I'm gonna give them chances to redeem
Yeah.
themselves, which is the
Mm-hmm.
entire concept of why Jesus comes and all the things. But I feel
Mm-hmm.
like as humans, when we're doing the religion part, we treat the text as absolutes. Like every religion has like a word for when you question or when you're going against God's word, right? Blasphemy. Everyone knows what blasphemy means. Like you're questioning God, you're doing
Yep.
that. But Eri questions. And in that
Mm-hmm.
questioning, she makes Oran question too. Like the parts where
Mm-hmm.
he starts to be like, okay, maybe I can care for the animals and I can appreciate the plants and the trees and I can appreciate things a little more. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm not anti-religious. I recognize the
Mm-hmm.
ways that faith and devotion and spirituality are a huge part of the human experience. But like you said earlier, like we also know that religion has been used to justify some truly heinous things.
Mm-hmm.
But can you talk about like this theme in the book about like reevaluating? I really love that quote that like creation is not static.
Well, and I even feel like if you can imagine, like in my head, this divine being that at first, making creation and making the world and making beings,
Yeah.
maybe first angels and then humanity or all of these things,
Mhm.
how would he not learn through
Mhm.
all of these changes and experiences and
Yeah.
failures or, you know what I mean? Seeing a son, betray another, like you would imagine over the eons of time
Mhm.
that being would learn from there. And then also, in my mind, it was that then he almost, like just like with my own children, like I'm going to let them make their mistakes. I'm
Mhm.
actually testing them by
Yeah.
putting, you know what I mean, trials in
Yeah.
front of them, or by saying, here, here's your purpose. But also there are signs for Oran that his purpose rests outside of taking life,
Mhm.
and you know what I mean, and sending it back, because
Mhm.
he is able to wield life
Mhm.
and wield nature, for
Mhm.
power and for other means.
Mhm.
And why would he be given that gift if
Yeah.
it was purely to send it, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
beyond, yeah,
And there's even
back?
times
So,
where you can see like when even as their things are fluid and things are changing from the original mission, you can see
yeah.
the times, the moments where God is like aiding, like
Hmm.
helping in different
Aiding and
times.
helping against
Yeah,
the rules.
exactly. Against the rules, where he's like, okay, I'm making this decision. I'm gonna
I'm
help
gonna
you
bend
here.
them. I'm
I'm
gonna,
gonna give
yeah.
you a sign here. I'm gonna tell you, push you in this direction. And I
Hmm.
really, really enjoyed it. That was
Yeah,
really cool.
when the tree gets struck,
Yes.
so that was a new addition, and that was one that was like, you know, because Cahill stands apart a little bit, and he did in
Mhm.
heaven, and then he does, but at the same time, God is sending a sign that it's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? There's all
Yeah.
of these just certain things because these are the people he's chosen, and this is
Mhm.
maybe his executioners, but I don't believe he believes even that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That there is, yeah, they're there to do a duty and serve a purpose, but even what's outlined, there may be some whole other design and purpose behind this that
Mhm.
he has
Mhm.
orchestrated that is far beyond the understanding of
Yeah.
everybody, the readers and me,
Yeah.
in the book right now. So
Yeah.
I
No,
feel
and
like
it's
it's a
like, I mean,
constant
he
change.
chose them and he chose them for a reason. This all knowing, all seeing being, which is what we know and we're taught. Like, that's what God is, right? So he
Mhm.
probably is aware that, like, things are going to change and these are the people who are going to adjust and are not going to be so rigid. So let me send
Mhm.
them to do this job because, like, there are a lot of angels. Why did he choose these ones specifically? There
Mhm.
has to be a reason why he chose them, right? Like I really
Yeah.
enjoyed like that exploration of
Mhm.
divinity. Like the exploration of divinity was one of the things that just it was like I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved it so
Well,
much.
and Tiernock even he understands so much more because
Yeah.
he was with, you know what I mean, more side
Yeah.
by side
Hmm.
with God in heaven. And so, but he doesn't share much.
Hmm.
He
Hmm.
has a whole other story to share, like going
Hmm.
into the next books. And I love exploring that of like, he's going to have just so much more information and knowledge than anyone else. So,
Yeah.
and then Cahill, same from the other side because he's been in hell and he's served time in
Yeah.
hell. And so he's going to have that knowledge. And yeah, I can't wait to explore their
I
stories
cannot
even
wait to read it. I'm so excited to read like the rest of the series. Also,
more.
I really, really loved the idea of treating there's a part where Pollock says like treating pleasure like it's a part of God's design, not something to be feared, but something to be revered, desired, a different language, a way of seeking on deeper understanding. I'm paraphrasing here, but
Mhm.
why was it important for you to frame it this way when, especially in like religious contexts, physical pleasure is very often treated like something wrong and like it's a sin
Mhm.
and like it made me really love because I one of the things I fell in love with the book was the dedication at the beginning. I loved it. I loved
Thank
the
you.
dedication. But then it's like I really also love this part where Pollock is like there's no sin here. This is about seeking a deeper understanding, and this is part of God's design. And why was it important for you to frame pleasure that way?
Well, I feel like probably growing up, in religion, how many years do we spend in shame or in not letting it be what it maybe should, because
Yeah.
there's just our perception of it, what we're told, and the
Hmm.
I don't know, the guilt and the shame kind of rest there. And
Hmm.
so breaking away from that, and maybe being given that understanding sooner, or never having that guilt and shame in the first place,
Yeah.
and being told that it is all right as long as
Hmm.
it's like with the people you love and the people you trust,
Hmm.
and exploring one another, and just a better understanding at that level, and more, communication. Then I think it doesn't have, like, maybe the world would judge it differently, but it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be any of those things if you don't let it, right? So
Hmm.
for me, it maybe is how it should have always been, and not been treated, or and taught that it was this other thing, because how liberating would then our daughters, you know what I mean, feel
Yeah.
about that, or be able to
Yeah.
communicate with us and with their partners, or
Hmm.
so.
No, because we do spend like a lot of time feeling shame about the things that we're
Mhm.
feeling in our bodies. Like something is wrong with me for me to be feeling this way. I shouldn't be feeling this way. And
Mhm.
it does get in the way of like getting to know ourselves in this
Yes.
physical way. So like
Mhm.
seeing that in a book that had all of the religious symbolism was like a really it was a really, really cool addition. I really loved that about
Yeah.
it too.
Well, and communicating with the partner, because if they're feeling
Yeah,
the same things, and they are, you know what I mean, and they
exactly.
don't want to talk about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I just imagine if that was never something that
Hmm.
was a seed planted in our heads and in our
Hmm.
lives,
Hmm.
what kind of relationships, physical, could we
Yeah,
have had, or could we have?
exactly.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, no, yeah, that's it was really cool. I really loved it. So the book is the series is a Why Choose like
mhm,
series, right? And it's kind of a delicate balance writing Why Choose because I feel like
mhm,
building connection with one person is hard enough, but building connection
yeah.
with multiple partners is even more complicated. And I kind of wanted
Mhm,
to ask about this because, and I know you can't really tell us much because there's still
mhm,
more to come in other books, but the way that Aries' relationship is kind of she's like a different version of herself with the different people. Like with Pollock, it's like Pollock had this felt this instant connection to her. Like the moment
uh-huh,
he noticed her, like in the crowd, and he felt her presence, and then even
mhm,
when there's like this explosive, intense thing with Pollock, while with Oran, it's just kind of like her softer side because he's more like he's such a yearner. Like I love
mhm.
that about him, and I really love that when he's talking, even when he's like doing like love declarations, he sounds like he's quoting scripture. I really, really loved it about him. And so I'm
Nice.
like, I'm trying to imagine like what versions of Eri are we going to discover when we start to see her more with Cahill or with Tiernak? Like, what is?
Mhm.
Can you give us anything?
I just from what I feel, and like can already, for me it's almost like a sense,
Yeah.
like I can kind of sense this. I feel like Cahill in a lot of ways is going to be demanding, punishing,
Hmm.
like a harsh teacher, but
Yeah.
also her biggest cheerleader. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
when she succeeds, yeah, he's going to push her, but he's
Hmm.
going to be the reason she achieves so much at the
Hmm.
same time. And then with Tiernak, I feel like that is her other equal. Like, that is her, in a sense, has a very similar mind to her and similar thoughts. It's almost going to be like this divine connection that is, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
understanding at a level that, yeah, that others can't even
Hmm.
grasp. And also, he's going to be more of a worshiper of her.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he'll be closer to, Oran in that.
I can
But
see that
Oran,
because
yeah.
yeah, I can see that like from like his personality and just the
Mhm,
way that like because I feel like he seems to be the one who's the most disturbed about how everything has accelerated.
mhm,
He's like, oh, they need more time. And he's
mhm.
kind of doing what he can in his own way to give them that time. So I'm looking forward to seeing what their situation is like. I'm looking forward to seeing what Aries like when she meets the rest of them and when they yeah, I'm really looking forward to the series. I'm looking forward to it
Well,
so much.
and I think one of the things for me is, obviously, when you have 4 men, I was like, okay, but there eventually needs to be physical contact that's happening between,
Mm-hmm.
these characters.
Mm-hmm.
But I also made myself sit back and be like, you know what? It doesn't have to be, you know what I mean? This, like,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a story that's 3 books or 4 books, like, let it develop. Let her, let the reader and me and everybody meet these people, and
Yeah.
in each one is special in their own way.
Yeah.
I still want to bring the hotness and the heat in these scenes, but I always want it to develop at a natural level. And if,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? Like, I know when I read it, if it feels off, and I never wanted it to, yeah, I wanted it to just to be
Yeah.
like, it's almost like, let these people please be together. So in book 2, I'm not going to be in a rush to bring that, like, foursome to the
Yeah.
forefront. I just want her to build this amazing connection with each of them when, yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, like take your time. Like, because the world felt so immersive, which is something I really, really enjoyed. Because I noticed that every time I was like, I picked it up and I was reading it, it felt like I couldn't think of anything else. I couldn't be anywhere else. I was like fully immersed into the world
Awesome.
that you'd built. So it was, yeah, it was wonderful. Plus, like, I don't know, masterpieces take time, so take your time. Like,
Yeah.
absolutely.
It
Um,
was funny because when I first finished writing the first draft, I was at like
mhm.
95,000 words, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to write this monster book this time. So I
Yeah.
went in and started editing, and I edited like 2 or 3 times through the whole thing,
Hmm.
before I started doing the beta read, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm like, I'm supposed to be cutting, not adding
Yeah.
all these words.
No, I
So,
can totally see because there's just so much. Like we haven't even gotten into all of the things that happen, like in the because like there's different time periods, like
mhm.
the period before everything kind of goes horrible. We haven't even gotten
Yeah,
into that part yet. And like
I
you left us
know.
with such a cliffhanger in the morning times, like in the presidential bunker. I was like, oh my God, that's it. Like I remember getting to the end of the book and I'm like, I cannot believe that she just left us hanging there. So I'm really excited
Um,
to see like more of like that part of the story and how things kind of
mm,
devolve into like the world that Iridessa kind of comes into and starts to like
mhm.
build things. Yeah, I'm really excited to see that.
Well, and I wanted where I ended it, I wanted those questions. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I wanted people to come up with, their own mind about things and discuss it. Like, I didn't
Hmm.
want to hand you the answers and be like, this is who this person is or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to leave a little bit to the imagination and let people, yeah,
No,
ruminate on it.
it was really, really great. So when you think of the series, or at least maybe the first book, what do you want readers to get from it when they read it?
Um, I think I want readers to relate, like, I feel like they could relate, all of us, to kind of that making a decision,
Hmm.
like she did, that's
Hmm.
harsh, and being redeemable from it,
Hmm.
feeling lonely and finding value in life, and uh, happiness and joy from the smallest of things.
Yeah.
And then, like, who knew that she would find this wonderful human being, you know what I mean, in the place that she did.
Hmm.
And then also, to her redemption partly comes from that,
Yeah.
right? And making a decision that goes against everything that she
Hmm.
should, know.
Yeah.
And then also, like, she trusts an enemy, and she listens, and she
Hmm.
forgives, and what else? Oh, and just, I love insects and creatures and animals. Everybody
I
should too.
know.
But
Oh,
no,
this is probably a spoiler, but are we ever going to see more of Lila?
yes,
We
yes.
are? Okay.
Hmm.
Because I was like heartbroken by
Yeah.
like towards the end. I was so
Mhm.
scared for her because I'm like, I can't even imagine how Eri would feel, but I'm very excited to know we're going to get to see more of her.
Yes, I feel like she's a huge part of this series.
Yeah.
If not, I'm sure I'll find a love interest or something for her, because it's
Hmm.
already planted there, and I want her to stay,
Hmm.
for a while. So, yeah, when that edition came to me, I was like, oh, And I love it. So,
Okay, that's really great. I love that. That makes me very
mhm.
excited. Yeah, look, there's just so much about this book, but I wanted to ask because I know you said you don't want to rush, but do you know how many books are going to be in the series, like all together?
Well, at first it was going to be a duology.
Mhm.
And then I thought there's just no way, you know what I mean? I'm going to need more time. And then I'm like, it's the Four Horsemen. It's got to be 4 books. So 3 or 4 is my final answer.
Okay, no,
So,
I love that.
mhm.
I am down for it. Because I feel like this is a world that you, it's like the kind of world that you want to spend more time in and just kind of watch things unfold, and you want them to
Mhm.
have enough time to just,
Of course.
yeah. I wanted to ask you a few rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. These are just fun questions. There's no wrong answer, so whatever you want to answer is totally fine.
Okay.
Okay. My first question is, if you could write only one trope forever, what would it be?
Probably enemies to lovers.
I
I
love it.
feel like that's second chance or enemies to lovers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love those because like there's so many places you can go with them. So I
I
really
love just
feel,
backstories and yeah,
yeah,
history. Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
No, that's awesome. Do you remember what the first romance book you ever read was?
Um, First romance one. It might have been. I mean, is the Da Vinci Code was really the first, you know what I mean, that had
Mhm.
love like in it.
Yeah,
And I think the
yeah.
seed of that, along with all the mystery, was like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, this is something.
Oh yeah.
So after that, I want to say I probably went to like Twilight or something. And then yeah. I know that J.R. Ward though stole my heart with
hmm
her Black Dagger Brotherhood was like, oh, that just my mind exploded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay, those are great. Those are great. I love those. Do
mhm.
you have a favorite book?
I have one that I recommend quite often to everybody because I think
Yeah.
everybody should read it. And an author that I'm like, okay. Mia Sheridan, Archer's Voice is
hmm
that. Yeah, I've read it multiple times. Any book from Mia Sheridan
Yeah.
is phenomenal. And then Crossley Cole,
I love Crystal
she,
Cole.
yeah, Immortals After Dark series.
Yeah,
Yes.
I love Crystal Cole, and she has this mafia series that I've read so many times.
The
The
professional
Professional,
and like,
The
yeah.
Masters, the Game Maker
Yes.
series. Oh my God, I've read those books more times than I can remember. They're like, I love them. I can
Yeah.
never get enough of them. I really,
She
really love
just has an ability to write suspense, but
them. Yeah,
also steamy scenes that
yeah.
are absolutely amazing. Yeah.
No,
So,
I agree. I agree. I love her
mhm.
books.
Yeah.
What is your favorite genre to read?
To read,
Yeah.
um, mm, I actually, and this is probably because I'm a writer and I just
Mhm.
want to sometimes read something that's just not related, like it's giving me a
Yeah.
vacation from what I'm writing.
Yeah.
So I actually love like romance. I
Mhm.
love me some
Mhm.
hot.
No, no, no. I can see
That's
that.
one. It's one of my favorites. Lily Morton.
Mhm.
I love her writing,
Mhm.
and it just takes me so far away from what I'm currently working on,
Yeah.
and yeah, that I can read and I can relax and just enjoy the story.
Mhm. And there's some really good ones. There's one that I'm really looking forward to that's coming out, I think in September.
Hmm.
It's by LJ Shen, Fallen Rook. I'm really
Oh
looking
yeah.
forward to reading it because it's part of like a series, but
Mhm.
I'm really looking forward to this is the first, I think this is the only MM1 in the series, but yeah. No, there's a lot of really good ones. Plus like I don't know, do you watch Heated Rivalry? Do you watch
I
it?
haven't, don't watch that much TV, and when I do, it's usually a movie. But no,
Yeah.
I've seen things here or there, but I've never seen the
You
heated
should watch Heated
rivalry.
Rivalry. It's really good. It's a really good like romance book adaptation because
Hmm.
I feel like there's a few adaptations where it feels like you can kind of tell that the filmmakers did not really respect the material a lot, but with
Hmm.
this one you could tell that like they really
I do.
wanted to bring like the source material to life, and it's a really beautiful
Hmm.
adaptation. Yeah, it's really great. You should read it. we should watch the show. Like,
I will. I'll give it a
yeah, you
chance.
should watch. Plus, it's just six
Um,
episodes, but it's really good.
yeah.
Um, what is your favorite romance novel to screen adaptation? Do you have one? Like, it could be a film, it could be whatever.
Romance novel screen adaptation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd
Okay.
have to pass on that one. Like,
No,
I'm
that's
trying to
okay.
think, but nothing's coming to mind.
No, that's okay. What is a book that you've read that made you feel like, wow, I kind of wish I wrote that?
Uh, I would say that I wish that I wrote it that blew me away. Um, TJ Klune is probably one of my, The House on the Circulant Sea.
Hmm.
It's probably one of just the, I think he writes cultural events issues
Hmm.
better than anyone. And it held such meaning, like about adoption, about also what they face as far as
Yeah.
prejudice. So that one really resonated with
Hmm.
me. Even in college, when I was going to school for creative writing, I mentioned it a lot because I'm like, I think more people need to read that. It doesn't have a heavy romance,
Hmm.
in it, but his books just make you think so
Yeah.
much more deeply.
Hmm.
And yeah, that's what I'm like, yeah,
Yeah. I'm gonna add that to my TBR.
yeah,
I'm definitely gonna add that.
oh, I love
Um, what is a film? Because you said you watch more films. You don't really watch a lot of
it.
TV, but when you do, you watch films. I love that because I'm a filmmaking is like a part of my life, so I'm a film
Hmm.
girl. I love film. But what is a film that you've watched that you thought, this would make a great book?
Great book. Um, I think. No, it might take me a minute to come up with one.
No, it's fine.
Um, yeah, I'm trying to think what I've seen lately that would be really good. Well, Practical Magic, like that would be,
Hmm.
I love
Oh,
those.
that would be fun.
Those
Yeah.
are my favorite because those could really be extended and to have fun with the
Yeah.
plot. But um, the Notebook, like it is a book, right? And it is a
Hmm.
movie. I would love to see more of that, like more story.
Hmm.
Hmm, I'm trying to think. Probably Pretty Woman. That could be a whole
Oh my
other
gosh.
thing.
Yes. Pretty Woman would make such a great book.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I would totally read that. I think it's kind of difficult, this question, just because like there's so many great films. So when you think of them, you're like, oh wait, that's actually a book first. Oh wait, that might have been a book first. So there's been a lot of that.
Yes, and I am,
Yeah.
yeah, and I have been to the movies a couple times lately, but I'm telling you, most of my knowledge on movies, like when I was a kid, I was glued to that TV, and
Hmm.
so I'm gonna throw out all the old movies from when
No, no, no. I love
that
that.
generation.
I
Yeah.
love that. Like Pretty Woman is like one of those, like it'll forever be a classic. I feel like it's timeless. Like it's the kind of
Mhm.
story that you can tell. I can't think of a single like time period where you can tell that story and
Yeah.
it wouldn't feel like,
And could a writer really give you an accurate portrayal of Julie Roberts' smile when he snaps that thing? Like, if you think about it, nobody can duplicate that, So,
no, yeah.
mm,
This is true. I agree.
yeah.
What is a book that you've read in the last year that has stayed with you?
Okay, right in the last year. I would say there's so many, but like right now, I'm Alice in Wonderland for me.
Hmm.
It's a retelling, so I'm not reading it, I'm listening to it. Do you know how many
Yeah.
times I've re-listened to that? I have never understood Alice in Wonderland like I understand Alice in Wonderland now.
Yeah.
And and I get so much joy from listening to it,
Mhm.
even if it's for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Just her snarky nature at times,
Hmm.
and then also the trials that she goes through. It helps me in my own because I'm going through my own stuff. And so
Yeah.
for me, Alice in Wonderland, and I don't think anybody has ever like hearing Frankenstein for the first time, and I never knew the real story, like what it was originally, and the real story, like Hollywood's version of it was what I believed.
Mm-hmm.
And so having the classics, because I've now dived into some of those,
Yeah.
I had never done that before, and
Yeah.
how much maybe it's broadened my own knowledge of writing and
Mm-hmm.
character development.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the most, yeah, that has resonated with me is, diving into the classics and getting to understand them at this
Yeah.
level, and then finding joy from Peter Pan and from Alice in Wonderland and Great Gatsby, all of these. That's
No,
been
yeah, no,
great.
those are really good. There's a reason that they are classics.
Yeah,
I feel
so
like
I'm
there's a
like,
reason that they are
they are, and
classics.
for so long it was like, you know what I mean? They're older stories. Like I enjoy reading
Yeah.
what's new, what's out there, but
Mhm.
they're timeless.
They
Yeah.
are. Like, I'm currently reading Alice in Wonderland retelling that I'm really enjoying. And it's
Hmm.
just like it's making me want to reread Alice in Wonderland. Yeah.
See, and I've started a dark retelling that I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Um, it has a little bit of like pop culture and stuff that I would pull
Mhm.
in. Um, but it's a down the road finish.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, other things are more pressing for me, but
Yeah. No,
mhm.
that'll be fun to read. I hope to see that
Yeah.
one day. Did you see the Frankenstein film, the
I
Guillermo del
haven't
Toro
yet.
one? You should see it. I feel like
Yeah.
it's a it's probably my favorite of all of the Frankenstein films, just
Hmm.
because I feel like it. I don't know. It probably feels closest to what Mary Shelley had in mind. But yeah, it's a really good, like, I love the way that it explored it just beyond the here's the monster, here's the person who created the monster. Just it goes deeper than that. And yeah,
Hmm.
it's a really good, I feel like you should watch it.
I know. I'm like, I
Good.
haven't seen it yet, and it's on my list. But yes,
Yeah.
we just watched Interstellar last night, and I had never seen that. My
Really?
daughter's like, yeah, she's like, you need to watch this.
I
So
am so glad you've seen it now. What did you
I
think? Did you like
know.
it?
I did like it, yes. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't believe I've gone this long without seeing it. So I need to just make a list and
Yeah, it's definitely one of my absolute favorite sci-fi films ever.
Mhm.
Interstellar. It's so good. Like, it's, yeah. The first time I watched it, I was like, oh my God. Like, it blew me away. And I feel like that just never changes because every time I've rewatched it, I'm just like, this is such a brilliant film. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm glad you've seen it. When did you know that you wanted to be a romance author?
I knew when I watched Secret Window and Johnny Depp is in a cabin and he is writing, and there was just this light bulb moment that I was like, I don't know what it was about it, but I'm like, I want to be in a cabin by myself and just write stories, just let my imagination run wild and not
Yeah.
have to have, the world and responsibilities. Like it was
Mhm.
just like, I want that. And I know
Yeah.
it's like this whole psychological thriller, and then there was also a moment after I saw like Dracula 2000.
Mhm.
And I absolutely loved the plot, and I was so dialed in and just enthralled with this show. And then
Mhm.
something changed, the plot changed, and it went left where I thought it should go right. And I was upset. Like I was really upset enough that I started writing my own version of that because
Really?
it irritated me enough that that's really what got me sitting down and putting pen to paper. So
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
I've written fan fiction before, and this is the exact reason why I wrote it. Because I'm like, I was watching a show and everything was going great, and then it just went left, and I was like, what? Why is this what happened? So I needed for my own sanity to write it a different way. Just like
Yeah.
my brain it would just not leave my brain. So I totally get the
Mhm.
impulse. Like I feel like it's one of those sometimes, especially when you're doing like creative things, it's like sometimes
Mhm.
it just grabs you and it's not gonna let go until you
Yes.
like get it out of your head. So
Yes. Like your brain wants this is how it needs to end for
yeah.
you.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, that happens.
Mm.
If you could write a different genre, what genre would you choose?
Well, I don't know if you've read the motorcycle romance ones that I have, but
No, I
so
haven't read those yet.
I'm working on book 3 of
Yeah.
that series.
Oh,
And
cool.
then besides that, I have a list. Like you would not believe my Google Drive list because I have titles picked out. I
Yeah.
have some of these plotted.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say there is um, like a Scottish mythology region, not
Cool.
region. It has a little bit of Regency, but it also
Mhm,
has fantasy.
mhm.
That is one that I'm like, one of these days I want to dive into it because it calls to me a lot, like
Yeah,
the need to write it. And I'm like,
yeah,
no, wait, I've got to finish these others first.
yeah.
It's, and one of the reasons I went to motorcycle romance is at first I was writing a paranormal saga.
Mhm.
And I just thought, I don't have the chops yet. I really need to improve my writing. I've got to, before I write this series. And it's funny because I almost, even though I'm a good writer now, I still feel that way for that
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
And so I just can't imagine, like, at that time, the kind of writer I'll be when I finally am like, okay, or I'm going to write this one. Because
Yeah.
I feel like I put these books ideas on pedestals and I'm
Mhm.
like, I can write this one now. I can write this one now. So,
Later. No, no, no. I totally get that. Isn't it weird sometimes, like the rituals that you have, like as
mhm.
like, when you're doing creative stuff, it's like I'm not ready for that. My brain isn't ready for it yet. I don't think I'm
Well,
ready for this yet.
it's the same because I am writing book 2 for the Huntress and the Four Horsemen, which will be called something else.
Mhm,
And I am working on Overdozer, which is the third of the motorcycle romance series,
mhm.
The Harbingers of Chaos. And so, but it's ultimately my emotions that are
Yeah.
telling me, that whatever one is burning inside me, because when I sit down and write, it's like I can feel
Mhm,
where that emotion needs to go and where
mhm,
it, rests.
mhm.
And say something drastic happens in my life that throws me into a happy zone or to this, it's going to be so hard to dive into the biblical horror,
Yeah.
if that. So I try to balance them, and music helps because it does get me in the mood for
Mhm.
certain
Yeah.
certain scenes. Hmm.
That's awesome. Well, I'm really glad. I'm really excited to see the rest of the series. It's such a great, like, I don't think I've ever read anything. I've never read anything like that. Like, that was my first thought when I read it. And I was really, really excited to read it. And, like, the more I got into the story, the more I fell in love with it, with the world building, with the characters. Oh, I also saw when I was reading about you that you have a book about, like, writing craft.
Yeah. Hmm.
Oh,
So
that's
it's
so
called
cool.
I kind of just took all the knowledge that I had because I study epics, like,
Yeah.
Harry Potter, Star
Hmm.
Wars, Lord of the Rings, all of these epics. And I studied from, in class, and then also his books of David Farland, who wrote The $1 Million Outline.
Hmm.
And it was about finding, the method of to write these phenomenal fantasy
Yeah.
stories and how to do that. And I thought, that's what I want to do. And I want to teach people how to do that, but how to do it writing romance, because you can take all those same aspects and there's all these things missing in order to do it
Yeah.
with romance. And so that's essentially what that guide is
Hmm.
it's all the knowledge I've learned up to this point of how to write fantasy and romance and, whatever genre it is, but to those lessons. So,
No, I love that. That's really cool.
mhm.
I added it to my TBR when I saw it because I was like, oh, this is so interesting. And I love reading books about writing and craft. It's always fun to like read about the things that other people have learned. Like it's like I think
Mhm.
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really excited to read the rest of the series, and I definitely want to read the motorcycle one just because like I'm like, I think it's Harbingers of Chaos, right?
Yes.
That's the
Hmm.
one. I really want to read it. And I'm very excited to see where the rest of Eridessa and Pollock and Oren and Tiernan and Cahill and where their story goes next.
Hmm.
Thank you so much for coming on the podcast. This has been a really
This was
wonderful conversation.
fun.
I've had
Yeah.
so much fun. Yeah, thank you so much for doing this.
These were phenomenal questions. I enjoyed myself immensely. So thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks
I
for having
really
me.
appreciate it. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
This is the Happily Ever After Place, a romance podcast brought to you by Pearl and Honey Bookclub, where we discuss all things romance, from romance books to romance authors to romance adaptations. Join us every week for conversations about our favorite books, in depth interviews with some of our favorite authors, and so much more. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube.